I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. There is a lot to track at the moment on the weather maps. For a weather person, it's quite exciting. There's a lot going on. But for New Zealand itself, a fair bit of high pressure rolling on in. We've got a special 2-week rainfall map to show you, and also the 1-week departure from normal. And it's a little surprising what is about to happen. Anyway, like I say, there's a lot going on at the moment, so put your weather nerd hat on and enjoy watching this, because we're going to track the cyclones, or at least the potential cyclones, the La Nina lows, some unusual winds going on around Australia, and of course the big high rolling into New Zealand, and that's where we'll start. Big high pressure down here is moving on in. Now there is a southerly change at the moment. You'll be feeling it in the South Island today. It goes nationwide overnight, and so Friday's also a cooler day in many areas, and the nights are colder than average in both islands, especially in the south of the South Island, and if you're in a tent, you'll notice it even more. So that high is rolling in. That means we've got a southerly for another day or so, and as that moves in, of course, southerly winds to begin with. So we've got a couple of days that'll be cooler, better sleeping weather. Look at the lows up here. There are 3 in a row. A high to moderate risk of a cyclone forming. New Zealand's risk is actually diminished a wee bit because of this big high, something we've talked about this week, saying it may well be the guiding factor, but there are 3 lows up here. So Fiji looking at a fair bit of rain coming up, and they're also monitoring a potential cyclone for next week. And the last thing, I talked about these unusual winds in Australia, the westerly winds blowing up here. That's the opposite of what you normally see. Usually along the northern part, you see a lot of easterly winds blowing through up in the tropics. So at the moment, it's westerlies, and it's all feeding into this large pool of low pressure to our north, classic La Nina. So at the end of the forecast, I'll show you that special 2-week rainfall map. And yeah, it's quite interesting. You can see how 300 millimetres of rain will be just near New Zealand, and some parts might only get 1 millimetre where we are. So this is the departure from normal temperature map. You can see the North Islands, northern and eastern areas, you're still hot, you're still leaning warmer than average today, but many other areas back to normal, and down in the south, below normal. In fact, that area there in pink is over 8 degrees below average for this time of the year, and the dark blue is 4 to 8 degrees below normal. So much cooler than usual, colder depending on how you look at it. So that is for Thursday. Tonight, temperatures are dropping again in both islands as that change moves through. The northeastern corner, you're about normal, but everybody else is cooler than average. And then we go through Friday itself, and again, colder than average up the whole eastern side of New Zealand, but everyone else pretty much bang on normal. So you'll have a better night's sleep in the north, and for those of you in the south, still, as I say, a bit colder, and eastern areas a little cooler. Nothing too major, but enough to be noticeable. Let's get into the forecast. So here we are at lunchtime on Friday, I was going to say Thursday, lunchtime Friday. There's the high, there's the southerly change coming through, and those showers that are now moving into the eastern North Island. That's why your Friday is cooler than your Thursday is. So you've got that cooler change coming through, but it eases now in Southland. So apart from a few showers, the heat, the warmth slowly starting to return. As we go into the weekend, it gets even more settled down around the South Island. Still showers though in the eastern North Island, and the last gasp of that southerly coming in actually more as an easterly for the Bay of Islands. You'll notice a little bit of a temperature drop there, but nothing too major. Okay, let's go to Sunday. So the high starts to move out to the east, and as a result of that, we've got a warmer wind coming back down into the lower South Island. A few showers in Fiordland, a few showers in Gisborne. Otherwise, pretty dry on Sunday. We've got a low up here right next to Fiji. There is potential that that could form into a cyclone. It doesn't look like much on here, and that's partially because all this area of low pressure is spreading the energy out. It means that unlike with Cyclone Yasa, which was one storm all on its own back in December, this system's got 2 or 3 lows around it, all sort of saying, hey, can I take some of your energy off you? So it reduces the power, but it doesn't reduce the amount of rain that's falling. So Fiji could still be dealing with flooding conditions over the next week, regardless of if a cyclone forms. But you can see on Sunday there's a series of lows and a potential cyclone out near Broome as well, as La Nina really starts to do its thing. Now, as we go into next week, not a great deal of change, but more lows bubbling up. This is really an intense area. If someone was to take this map, show it to a geography class at high school, classic La Nina. absolutely classic La Nina with all the lows and storms forming in the tropics, while down our area, a lot of high pressure out to our east, and that's holding back over us, keeping New Zealand mostly calm. But by the time we get to Tuesday, the easterly winds are kicking in a bit more. These lows, potentially a cyclone up here. It's not locked in or ruled out, although the chance of New Zealand getting hit by one definitely lower. We're only going with a 15%, 1.5 chance of that happening at the moment because the high is so strong. But you can see those easterlies, you can see all these lows coming down, and this one here, perhaps the bigger of the series, but more are coming. And this one out here, by the way, looks like a pretty serious tropical cyclone. So that is the setup. Let me just show you a couple of extra maps. This one is the departure from normal, and it's thanks to the US government. For some reason, they make free maps for us, not our own one. Over here, the red and the pink, all leaning drier than average. White means average rainfall, and blue, you can see there, that's where the storms are going down. It's close to New Zealand, but the high pressure looks to be holding that up. And you can see again the cyclones over here. That heavy rain is starting to show up in some of those X systems coming through Australia. By the way, the rain down here is caused by local low air pressure. But as you can see, New Zealand and the New Zealand area for the next 1 week, drier than average. And check out this picture. This is showing rainfall for the next 2 weeks. And this bright blue area here, that's 200-300 millimeters of rain. You can see how it comes down this way, gets close to us, but the blue you see in New Zealand is at the bottom of the scale. That's just a millimeter or so. So high pressure dominates here. High pressure dominates across Perth and much of Australia. Some low pressure down here, which is why you're seeing that rain. But New Zealand very dry for the next 2 weeks, while 300 millimeters of rain is falling just to the north. So that's why we're watching these lows very closely. There's a lot of rain. Northern New Zealand certainly wants them. That's all from me. We will see you again tomorrow with the latest as we track these lows in the South Pacific.